voluntary act of the human body must first start off as a thought, and that thought has to encourage the body to engage in the appropriate muscular activity that matches the nature of that thought. So every thought that you think will one day become a word. Your words will become actions. Your actions will become your habits will form your character, and your character dictates your destiny or your future. That's why Jesus said it's not as a man driveth or weareth or haveth in his pocket, but as a man what? Thinketh in his heart, so is he, because the thought process of a human being. Right. Whatever you think about, you will bring about. Right. Your thought is moving in your head according to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad at the average speed of 24 billion miles per second. It is the fastest moving object in the universe. Therefore, by the law of power equals work divided by time, or power equals speed, the mind is the most powerful entity in the universe. But there's nothing in the universe moving faster than the speed of thought. You've got a car that can go 200 miles per hour. You've got a plane that can go 500 miles per hour on the average. We live on a planet that moves at 1,037 1/3 miles per hour every 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds. It makes one revolution on its axis, giving us what's called a day. And it's moving that fast, yet weighing 6 sextillion tons. Made up of 196,940,000 square miles of land and water. 68,634,000 square miles of the water is the Pacific Ocean. 41,321,000 square miles is the Atlantic Ocean. There's 29,430,000 square miles of Indian Ocean, 1 million square miles of lakes and rivers. Mount Everest, 29,141 feet high. The Earth weighs 6 sextillion tons, a unit followed by 21 zeros. Yet it's moving at that terrific speed. Sound 1,120 feet per second. Light moving at 186,000 miles per second. Light is moving so fast that on that great ball of fire called the sun, 853,000 miles in diameter, with 10 to 20,000 mile high flames coming off of its surface, burning at 14,072 degrees. One ray of light can travel 93 million miles from the sun to the earth in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Because light is moving at 186,000 miles per second. Faster than sound, faster than the car, faster than the plane, faster than the planet. But there's nothing in the universe moving faster than 24 billion miles per second. Thought is the fastest moving entity in the universe.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another sa.neter TV House of Consciousness production. As you can see, we already here. We are at one of the most famous mosques out here. Minister Hafiz, how you doing, brother? Good to see you again. This was the last place me and you met up right here when I did my interview with you. Wa alaikum assalam. I see you got my brother Nuri right here again. Good to see you, my brother.
Well.
Yes, sir. So, brother, without any further ado, I would like for you to bring on our brother. You know, peace.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you in the listening audience, New York City and worldwide. We have one of our stars of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's ministry and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Student Minister Nuri Muhammad. He's joined with his wife, Sister Terry Muhammad as well, and he's back in New York City. But he has 2 beautiful books out that I told him in Chicago he's got to come to New York, and he's got to showcase them and the wisdom before I say I do and after I say I do. But we want to talk about black love. We want to talk about functional black families in the 21st century. And our brother is on the cutting edge with that. We want to thank Student Minister Ava Muhammad, who has the book out, Real Love. But we got to talk about what do you do before you say I do? That's right. And then what happens after you say I do, so that the do's can be do's. So we're honored to have our brother here today and interviewing with the one and only sa.neter. We want to thank you for the awards. We want to thank you for the humanitarian award for the Honorable Minister Louis, or Lifetime Achievement Award for Minister Farrakhan, and everything you've done and made second year be better than the first year. So we introduce now one and only in New York City here on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Student Minister Nuri Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome,
Thank
sir.
You.
You're
Love
welcome,
you, my brother. May
On
Allah
behalf of the
continue
East
to
Coast
bless.
region and the believers, we love you.
Thank you. Love you
Thank
too.
you so
Thank
much.
you, sir. The great brother sa.neter.
All right, my brother Nuri, man. Good to see you again. Once again, last time we met, we was in Brooklyn.
That's right.
I think that was Mars number 7 out there in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we was out there in Brooklyn, man. Good to see you here again, brother. Got a smile on your face. You're doing great work, man.
Well, I was feeling good, but now I feel better. Now that I've seen your beautiful smiling face, my
man.
brother.
Thank you, brother.
And
Appreciate
we
that.
thank Allah for you, not just in the community of New York, but all over the country. Your platform of sa.neter TV has saved thousands of lives and has added value to millions of people's life. So we salute you, my brother, for what you do for our people, and it's an honor to be here to help you to do more of that.
All right. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. And shout out to We the God. We the God. He came up with a lot of these questions, and he put them in the best way he could. You know, he loved the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? So I want to just take it off first by asking you, talk about, before I even get to this, let's go into the books that you have written. Where's your books at? Can you bring them up on the table?
Well,
So we could
we
let
just
the-
got off the plane, but
Oh, okay.
before we finish.
All right, beautiful.
They're in the
There you go.
vehicle.
Okay, that's good. We need to get them books here so we can let the people see it.
Well, these books really became the product of what I call positive peer pressure. Everywhere we were going, teaching around the country, organizing for justice issues, economic development, or just to win new soldiers for Muhammad, we found that there was always a request for sidebar sessions of the organizers of the events, as well as the people in the community with problems in male and female relationships.
Okay.
So I said, well, if I can stop having these little sidebar meetings by the little copy machine at the lobby of the hotels, and then, if I can figure out a way to stop having all this, I might be able to get some other work done. So basically, that counseling that we were doing was trying to help people in mate selection, and also how to keep together after you made that commitment. So we came out with a book, Before You Say I Do, and the back of the book has a statement that we put on there that kind of justifies why it's important to read it. And it says this, that the mate you choose will either confine you to complacency or inspire you to grow into your greatness. They will either be your other half or they'll make you half of yourself. So we came out with Before You Say I Do to help in the process of mate selection. And then, of course, the married couples were saying, well, what about us? What about us? I mean, we already said I do. So we came out with our second book that is the second part of that. It's called After You Say I Do. So that's how these two books materialize. I also have a third book called Let This Mind Be in You, the Master, the Messenger, and the Minister. But those two are the products of positive peer pressure and sidebar meetings on male and female relationships everywhere we go. And I figured that instead of having to have all these little sidebar meetings, I can just hold the two books out, Before You Say I Do and After You Say I Do, and act like them old doctors used to act back in the day. Take two of these and call me in the morning. So we tried that, and so far we've been getting a very good feedback from hundreds of couples that have been able to salvage their relationship, and young brothers and sisters being able to make good mate selection choices thus far.
Beautiful. Good to know. Okay.
There we go. There we go.
There we go. Let's get right. Let's just hold them up right now.
In the morning.
Okay.
So this is Before You Say I Do and After You Say.
Now, before we go into it, how do one purchase the book? Let's say somebody's in Toronto.
Yes.
Let's say they're in Africa.
Yes.
How do they get a hold of that book if they would like it?
NuriMuhammad.com. That's simple as that. NuriMuhammad.com. Click on that, and as soon as you click on it, order it, and it'll come right to you in 3 to 5 days if you're in the United States, and 10 to 12 days if you're outside of the United States.
All right. All right, my brother, powerful. Let's get right into it now. Can you talk to the viewers out there about what made you choose the Nation of Islam? Why not Christianity? Why not Islam? What made you choose the Nation of Islam to dedicate your life to?
Very, very good question, Brother sa.neter. And I, like many of the young soldiers coming up, I grew up in the hood, the streets, or in the trenches like everybody else. The neighborhood that I came from in Indianapolis, hustling was the code of conduct for the neighborhood. Everybody sold dope. So when I was 10 and 11 years of age, I was selling weed. By the time I got into my teenage years, I started selling powder cocaine. And you know, as a youngster, me and my partner, I sold a ½ ounce of powder cocaine on the weekdays and an ounce on the weekends at 16 years of age. So we were making, you know, some you know, significant bread, if you will. But what I noticed, Brother sa.neter, is that as I was selling dope to my people, killing them, I felt myself dying on the inside. Didn't know why, but one day I was sitting on my porch and a thought came to my mind. The thought said, I wonder what the dope fiends were doing when they were my age. So this day I decided, you know, back then, you know, for back in, this is old school. This is, you talking about in the early 90s. We have cell phones back then. We had pagers. Right. And beepers. So this day I put up all the pagers, and instead of going out with the pager or having any dope, I went to the trap house and a liquor store and I interviewed the brothers that were out there that were strung out. And everybody that I interviewed, for the most part, they all said the same thing to me. I asked them, what were you doing when you were my age? And they said, oh, young blood, we was out there getting money just like you. And it dawned on me that if I'm doing what they were doing whenever they were my age, then I'm en route to be doing what they're doing whenever I reach their age. So the song wasn't out yet by Bishop Bullwinkle. I don't know if you heard that song, Hell No, to the No No, to the No No No. It's on YouTube. Okay. But that's what my mindset was. So I knew then that I had to break away from the streets. And anybody that's hustling, you know, I always wonder why they called it crack rock. And how does that correlate with the saying that I learned as a youngster, getting two birds with one stone? What the white man is doing with the dope, he was getting two Negroes with one rock. One, he made a fiend for the dope. The other, he made a fiend for the money. And it's just as hard to stop selling as it is to stop using. So when I come out the streets, the only thing I knew to get right was go to church. So I started going to church with my friend around the corner, and I went to everything. Double Sunday service, weekday service, Bible study. I did everything, but I did not feel like I was getting the strength internally to resist the pull of the streets. Lo and behold, I had a girlfriend that we had been together since we were 14 years of age. And her father wasn't registered in the nation, but he was a sympathizer. So he had the hardback Message to the Black Man, tapes of the minister. And she had already, my girl had already been going to Savior's Days, listening to the minister since she was 4. So whenever I was talking to her, she got back interested in the teachings, gave me Message to the Black Man and 2 lectures by the minister. One was By the Time Surely Man is in Lost from Michigan State, and the other one was called Figure It Up from Illinois State University. Every day she would be on the phone, we talked, she asked me had I read the book, no. Had you listened to the lectures? I hadn't listened to nothing yet. One day I decided to crack open that Message to the Black Man, and when I read the first page, I said, this is how I've been believing all of my life. I just didn't know how to say it. And I don't share this a lot because I don't want it to be a spooky story. But as I was reading the Message to the Black Man, I had never read a book in my life except for the autobiography of Magic Johnson, and it was that little thin one when I was in the 3rd grade. And every year through my school, I did a book report on that same book. And as my vocabulary got bigger, my report got longer, but I never read another book. Message to the Black Man was the only book I really had read before. And as I would read it at night, I would see an image of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and this man that I thought was a white man with him. And if I put the book down too early, they would look at me with a frown on their face. And if I kept reading it, I would look on the wall and I would see them smiling. Lo and behold, I go to the mosque several months later, and in the lobby they have a picture of Master Fard Muhammad. And I said, that's Master Fard Muhammad from the book? It's like, yeah, it was the man I thought was a white man looking at me while I was studying Message to the Black Man. And they had me studying, this is no exaggeration, 8 to 12 hours a day. That's how much studying I used to do as a teenager of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, to sum it all up, I said to myself, I said, well, from the outside in, looking in, the nation looked like too hard of a life to live. A little too much discipline for me. And I made up my mind. I said, well, if you can prove it wrong, you'll throw it away. But if you cannot prove it wrong, you'll commit yourself 100% to it. Needless to say, I'm here. So I wasn't able to prove it wrong. And I'm pleased to announce that that sister that I was with at 14 years of age, that introduced me to those 2 lectures in that book at 16 years of age. I joined the nation at 17 years of age. She joined the nation at 17 years of age. We got married at 19 years of age, and we just celebrated last month our 24-year wedding anniversary. My wife is the one that brought me in to the ranks. That's how it happened, Brother sa.neter.
Yes, sir. Beautiful story, my brother. Oh, man. Did you help patrol the housing projects with the NOI security team at one time?
I worked for another subsidiary of the Nation of Islam security firm. We had NOI Security, which was headquartered out of Washington, D.C. By Abdul Sharif Muhammad. And we also had in Chicago another branch which was called New Life Security by Leonard Farrakhan. I was one of the, I worked for New Life Security. I was 19 years of age. And I moved to Chicago fresh out of high school, married with a pregnant wife. But my mindset was not going there for security of the projects per se. I was going there for spiritual security and to be trained in the ministry. And I worked security to be able to feed my family. Of course, while I was there, we were in what was called Rockwell Gardens. At that time, Brother sa.neter, Rockwell Gardens had been assessed by some medical officials. And when they did a survey of the stress level of the people in Rockwell Gardens, they said it matched the people of Beirut at the time that were in war. That's how stressful the people's lives were over there. So when we got over there, you talking, I mean, every building run by a different gang. While I was there, I was a supervisor, and I was on the roving team, and one of the brothers from the projects was beating a sister with some handlebars to a children's bicycle. And when I seen him, I jumped in between it, took the handlebars from the brother. He picked up a pole, hit me with the pole. The sister ran. I ended up calling on the radio, telling our brothers that they were on their way over there. Made it over there. The brother was there busting their windows out, trying to beat not just the sister, now trying to hit the brothers with the pole. Came up the stairs, I did, threw a coat on him and hit him and held him down. We left. Needless to say, he got on the phone, told everybody that we had jumped him. So his gang came out, and when we came down the stairs, it was 4 of us. And in our code, as Muslims, we don't run from the difficulty, we run to the difficulty. We call on Allah, like Kunta Kinte did when he was making revolt on the slave ship. When he needed to draw power to make that revolt on the slave ship, they formed that circle, and you heard them say in Arabic, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, there's no God but Allah, Muhammad is his messenger. And then you heard all of the soldiers en route say, Allahu Akbar. snatched that cracker, pulled him in, got them keys. Boy, that's my favorite part of the movie. Snatched that, got them keys and start throwing them crackers overboard. So when we were in the projects, I was saying Allahu Akbar, moving toward the group. And I thought that these brothers were with me as well. And lo and behold, they had went a different direction. They went away from the battle. And I went to the battle, and I found myself confronted by about 20 brothers or more by myself. They act like they had guns, and they may have, but I know for sure they had poles, bats, and other weapons. And as I was talking to the head of the gang, who was the biological brother of the one that I had hit and held down that was beating his sister, he told me, he said, "Brother, what the hell's going on? Yeah, that's his wife." I said, "Well, I never seen nobody treat their wife like that, brother. He's beating her with some handlebars. I wasn't going to let that happen." So, needless to say, he told everybody in the gang, "Everybody stand down. Don't do nothing. We going to talk." Me and him walked away to talk. While we were walking away, I got hit in the head with a baseball bat by one of the brothers, and the next thing you know, they beat me. And I was in the hospital. Almost died. And lo and behold, by Allah's grace, they say I never was unconscious. They say I was always conscious. They say I wasn't moaning, making no noises. They came back to get me, put me in the ambulance. They say I was talking normal. I don't remember none of this.
Have you ever seen these young brothers again?
These brothers, now after I got out of the hospital, I was so messed up that I had I was so disfigured that I didn't recognize myself when I looked in the mirror. I had a scab that covered all my face. I had a cut from here, I've been split all the way down from the top of my head to my neck. All this was split, beat, bruised. But I got out of the hospital in a couple of days, went home, and within 3 days, I was 100% normal looking. So anyhow, there was a brother in the projects bragging about what he had done. He was the one that said he hit me with the bat. They found him dead. So they blamed us for this. Next thing you know, it became a big conflict, so the minister came in to settle it to make sure there wasn't no more bloodshed. I went back to work in the projects. And, well, you know, I had the pole that they hit me with.
Right.
I used to keep it with me. And lo and behold, as time went on, these brothers that were involved, the one that was beating a sister and his brother, they start coming to the mosque with me. And we hired them to work New Life Security. So they became soldiers on my shift that I was supervising, working New Life Security and coming to the mosque by Allah's grace. Yeah.
All right. Powerful stories right here that the people never heard of. What happened to the Nation of Islam contracts with the government to secure the projects?
And you know what? When you asked that question, the first statement that came to my mind was from the Holy Quran. And the Jews planned.
And Allah is the greatest.
And Allah also planned, and Allah is the greatest, best of planners. Soon as the enemy seen that our services were having an impact in Washington, D.C., and now the minister had brought brother, at that time it was William Muhammad, now Abdul Sharif, brought him to Chicago to create a national security company that would be able to have this same success ratio that they were having in the projects in Washington, D.C. The Jews realized that, wait a minute, not only are they transforming slaves' lives that I want to keep slaves, but they're also generating great revenue for themselves, the brothers, and the nation. So they made their move to start attacking us and getting us cut off from the government contracts. So HUD stopped the funding, and we end up losing a lot of those contracts. So it was the the Jews or the high-ranking whites of society that manipulate and control government that began to pull the purse strings back, that caused us to lose all of those contracts. But of course, you know, we the nation have never done what we do for what they would say in war, booty. or the spoils of war. We do what we do out of love for God and love for our people. So while we're not in the projects working like that, we are in the projects a couple of times a week, knocking on every door, trying to save our people. So the contracts are gone, but the work has not stopped.
What do you say when you hear people say that the Nation of Islam is not around when injustice happened to black people, like police shooting, etc.? Can you talk about that? Even Malcolm X said that at one time when he was talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In his day, he said the nation is really not around all the time when injustice always happens to us. Like we get shot down. Where's the nation at?
Well, what Malcolm X was saying to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was saying to him that he feels like we in the nation should start following the civil rights template and being a reactionary force that responds and stands in protest, strike, boycott, etc. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him, brother, they're marching. In paraphrasing him. What is marching? See, marching is putting one foot in front of another with the goal of reaching a certain location. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, well, if they're marching and they're moving, where do you think they're going? He said they have no place to go other than where we are. So hold your position and they'll join you. You don't have to go and join them. What a lot of our people don't understand about the Nation of Islam is that we don't follow the old paradigm of the traditional Negro template when it comes to fighting for justice or for service to a community. In our community, we think that community service is giving homeless people blankets and giving away free food every now and then. In the nation, our definition of community service is not giving a man a fish, but teaching that man how to fish. Because if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. We don't deal with and stand in the strike line or the protest line. We don't sit outside of City Hall with, asking, what do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Ungawa. We want black power. But they can't give you black power. They don't have it. So we don't follow the traditional Negro template for fighting justice. So whenever injustice happens, the traditional Negro template is what? Show up, prayer vigil, light some candles, RIP t-shirts, strike, boycott, picket, we need a citizens review board. Well, we got citizens review boards. We have striked. We have protested. We have marched. But this has not been able to undo devil. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad already told us what we were dealing with. So instead of us going out as a reactionary force following the old traditional Negro template to respond to justice that has never proven to be fruitful, we say, we told you who you dealing with. The ultimate solution is separation. So instead of wasting all your energy, black man, black woman, trying to make sure that that this beauty salon treats you right, stop going there and create your own. If they don't want if they're gonna treat you bad inside of this Asian nail shop, post up right next door to them with LaQuisha's nail shop, and everybody go to LaQuisha. Yeah. Oh, okay. And in Charlotte, North Carolina.
No, I'm talking about.
I know. I'm talking about the nail shop, but I'm saying in Charlotte, North Carolina, last year, the Chinese or the Asians there manhandled a sister over $5 eyelashes that she was stealing, slammed her, punched her, elbowed her. We go as a community and ask for an apology. Hell, the real thing that should take place is her uncles, her brothers, her cousins, her father, or some men in her family should have showed up there and made sure that they got a message in a language. That's the kind of world star fights I need to see. Black men standing up for the women of their community. Filmed world star that.
Yes.
And then the biggest thing should have been, let's post up right next door to them with our own beauty supply shop. And then let's say to them, we'll never spend another dollar with you for treating our sister like that. From here on out, we going to Pookie's or Ray Ray's or LaQuisha's beauty supply. The hell with y'all beauty supply. So we spend too much time, Brother sa.neter. See, the justice fight is trying to repair the system. The system ain't broke. It was built like this, though. We spend too much time trying to repair white people and not enough time trying to replace the system that exists. So in the nation, we don't do no begging. We're not trying to undo devil. We're not standing outside trying to repair a broken system. We are working to replace the system that has never been set up for us. So our form of fighting for justice is not a reactionary response. It's a proactive response. It's not begging, it's building. It's not repairing a white system, it's replacing the white system with one of our own.
Right, beautiful. Hey, I went out there for 2 days in a row to document what was going on in Brooklyn, and what I noticed, it was 2 spots that they had. It was one, and then they had another spot about 5 blocks away. So we walked up to the other spot to shut them down as well. And in between them spots, all up and down through Notion, nothing but Asians, brother. All Asians is up in all the stores, man. So
It's our fault, though.
yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely our fault.
I'm saying that to say this, that we've been blessed, Brother sa.neter. We get invitations to speak all over the country and now around the world on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and presenting really the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's solutions that he's offered the world to crime, violence, health, economic prosperity. We have them from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. God gave them to him. We're offering that. Everywhere we've gone, we've noticed this, that when you go to any other nationality's community, you have many businesses and a few worship centers. But when you come to the black community, you got many worship centers and very few businesses. Matter of fact, in every city we went to, every time a business goes down in the black community, a church comes and gets it. Grocery store shut down, now it's a church. Theater shut down, now it's a church. Strip mall went out of business, now it's a church. Well, school shut down, now it's a church. Well, some ought to tell us, if the Asian, the white, and other nationalities have a thriving community, let's get many businesses and very few worship centers, because if not, we can't even call ourselves a community. We are a colony. A colony is whenever you have an environment that has people living in it, but the people that do not live in that environment own all the businesses. So they come in, suck our blood, get all of our economic currency, energy, power from us, and they go out and live with white people and use the money they got from the black community to make white communities better. Well, we have to start owning our own businesses in our community. And when we set up a business, one of the struggles, because we have, in Indianapolis, we have a restaurant, Eat to Live Cafe. We have a barber shop and a beauty salon. We have a school. But one of the biggest problems that we're having is getting enough support from our own people.
Yeah, that's the problem. Mm-hmm.
But we're hard on black businesses, but merciful on white businesses.
Yeah.
Every year I turn on the TV and one of these pizza drivers from Pizza Hut, Domino, they always doing something nasty to the pizza, and we say, black people, soon as we see them put, I ain't never ordering nothing. Next thing you know, 2 meat lovers for $9.90 and we back ordering again. But let us go to a black business.
Right.
Go to a black restaurant. They short you one hush puppy. First thing we say, see, that's why I don't like doing no business with no niggas. I ain't never going back. And then we, not only that, we go and tell everybody. Right. But I would not go there no more.
Mention that we always want to come short too. Can I owe
we want to hook up.
Can I owe you this, brother?
Yeah, we always want, but we don't do that with white businesses.
That's right.
Now, so my point is this. that we have to become more merciful on our black businesses, and let's become harder on the white businesses. The philosophy of black economic success should be this: shop with your brother before you shop with another. That means my job as a black man or woman is, for every want and need I have, I should search my environment out to find out if there is any brother or sister that has that good product or service. And if I find them, I'm willing to drive farther and pay a little bit more, but I'm going to shop with my brother before I shop with another. If I search my immediate environment and can't find that good product or service in my immediate environment, before I go and buy anything from white people, I'm going online to see if I can find one of my brothers and sisters in another environment that can ship me the product that I'm looking for. And I'm telling you, if we did that with $1.3 trillion a year coming through our hands, if we would begin to circulate that money among ourselves, then we will be able to give one another power, and we will see our neighborhoods graduate out of a colony into a community, and we won't have to even fool with the Brooklyn Asian. We won't have to fool with the Vietnamese in Charlotte. We won't have to fool with the Koreans that own such and such. We won't have to go to no white man payday loan spot, or no Italian pizzeria, or no Indian with no chicken shack next to a gas station. We'll be able to do all of it for ourselves.
All right. Let me ask you this, brother. Do you still, because I remember back in the days, you had to write a letter to the Nation of Islam to join the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
Is that still going on to this day? Do you still have to write a letter to the Nation of Islam today?
That is still the policy.
Okay.
However, we never use the term convert to Islam, because every black man, woman, and child is already a member of the Nation of Islam, as Islam means submission to the will of God, or one that has been made secure through their submission to the will of God. We're Muslims by nature. We're everything else by circumstance. We are already born righteous, the original people. So when you join the nation, we don't call it converting to. We say you're reclaiming your own. Now, in the nation, in order for you to be enlisted into the army of Allah, in order for you to be considered a registered FOI, MGT, a registered member, you have to write this Savior's letter. Now, this Savior's letter, Brother sa.neter, you don't really write it, you draw it. You're taking a letter that is written to Master Father Muhammad from yourself, but it's in someone else's handwriting. Why would the Honorable Elijah Muhammad make this a requirement? He said this. He said anyone that can successfully write that letter is qualified to be a follower of his for the rest of their life. And they asked why. He said, because there's only 3 things that you need in order to stay with me and stay with God. And that's observation, concentration, and submission. So if you can write the letter and you're not writing it in somebody else's handwriting, you're not writing your drawing, you have to observe it. In order for you to make every loop the size that it's supposed to be, you have to concentrate. And in order for you to write in a way different than you normally would write with your own handwriting, you got to submit your handwriting to the handwriting of the one that wrote that letter. So this letter we call it the Savior's letter. It's a requirement, and it says in a nutshell that I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Father Muhammad, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last apostle. Then it says, my slave name is so and so and such. I desire a holy and righteous name of my own. And then that letter is sent off. If it is approved, then you receive in the mail student enrollment and some prayers. The student enrollment, 10 questions and answers. You come to the mosque, say, look, my letter's passed, I'm ready to recite. And then the person will ask you question number 1, who is the original man? And the one that answers the question has to answer it perfectly. The original man is the Asiatic black man the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Question 2, who is the colored man? The colored man is the Caucasian white man, or Yakub's grafted devil, the skunk of the planet Earth. Do you know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Brother sa.neter, he said that I could teach on each one of these points for 10,000 years and never repeat myself. That's how powerful just them student enrollments are. So, once you recite that, you enrolled as a student in the class of God making. That's what the Nation of Islam is.
All right. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Allah came in a person of Master Farad Muhammad. Does that mean that the vessel of Farad, Master Farad, was not God, but the person in him was God? Do I make sense? Do that make sense?
That makes
Explain that for me.
And to answer it in a brief way, you could say, yes, sir, that's true. See, flesh and blood is finite, but God is infinite. So if flesh and blood is finite, but the Supreme Being is infinite, then the flesh and blood serves as a temporary house of the infinite. So when we say Allah appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, what we are saying is that the 99 characteristics or attributes of Allah, they're human characteristics: mighty, beneficence, mercy, compassion, the avenger, the destroyer, wise. All these are human characteristics. What we are saying about Master Farad Muhammad is that Master Farad Muhammad manifests all 99 attributes to the highest level of every human being that exists on the planet at this time, and he knows how to execute each one of them with perfect harmony and balance whenever they need to be executed. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because you know everybody always talks about that God is in you. The God is in you. Every religion believes that. Jesus, when he was talking to the disciples, he told them the kingdom of God is where? Within you. Within you. The Holy Quran says, Allah talking, he says, remember thy Lord within thyself. So he's telling you that the Lord is in you. Another verse in the Quran says, and surely the throne of Allah's power is established on water, that he might manifest the great qualities within you. Well, we know that the throne of Allah is not a big gold chair in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but the brain sits on water. So the throne of Allah's power is ever upon water. It's in the head, that he might do what? Manifest the great qualities within you. So all the religions teach that God lives in man. However, what are the ingredients that make up God in you? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this. He said that the will of God is the essence of God inside of every human being. He said, but your will is buttressed or supported by two principles, faith and knowledge, and springs forth out of and is guided by love. Look at that real quick. So there are 4 primary ingredients that make up the God within you: your willpower, faith, knowledge, and love. The more faith, knowledge, love, and the stronger your willpower is, the more God you have manifest in your being. So every human being that we meet has levels of the expression of God in them, because every human being that you meet of the original family got willpower. Every original man, every original woman has faith, knowledge, and love. But how much of each of these 4 do we have? Mix them together, you can determine how much God is in. So when we say Allah appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, you know what that means? That he has the highest level of knowledge, faith, the strongest willpower, and the most love of any other entity that exists in the universe. Master Farad Muhammad. Now you know master means controller. Master means the top. Master means the greatest. But you also have, when you go to a duplication, you have a master disk.
Right.
When you go to make copies,
Master copy.
you have a master copy.
Right.
Well, what's the job of the master disk and a master copy? The job of the master disk or the master copy is to be put into a duplication process and take blank disks or blank pieces of paper and impress whatever's on the master onto the blank paper or the blank disk to make that disk and that paper just like the master was. So Master Fard Muhammad. See, the Nation of Islam is a spiritual duplication process. We came to the nation as a blank disc, as a blank piece of paper with a blank mind from our enemy. But the work of the nation is to take the mind of Master Fard Muhammad and impress that on every last one of us. So right now, at the state that we're in right now in our development, you only got point number 12. Allah appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. But if the goal of the spiritual duplication process called Nation of Islam is to make everyone just like Master, to make all a nation of gods, then we're not satisfied with point number 12, Allah appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. We now need to put point number 13, because Allah has appeared in the person of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We could put a point number 14. Allah has appeared in the person of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the goal, Brother sa.neter, is to not stop until we got a point number 47 million, where we can say officially Allah has now appeared in the person of every black man, woman, and child on the planet, because all of them have become a duplicate of that master. Hope that answers.
Yes, sir. Have anybody, because I'm looking at you, I don't know, it could have been just me staring at you, and you know, when you stare at something so hard, it makes you see something different. So as I'm staring at you as you talking, because I got a picture of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in my house when he was young, and I'm looking at you. Have anybody ever said you resembles the minister when you was young? Yeah. You know, when you see the minister, man. So that's how I was looking at you just now, man. Yeah.
The minister says it to me, and he made one statement one day. He made it more than once, but he told me, he said, I was thinking about you one day and your beautiful wife. He said, and I came to the conclusion that you are me 30 years ago, and your wife is Khadijah. So I don't think that you look like somebody because of complexion of skin. I think you look like somebody when you try to take on the complexion of their character. Right. I don't think that you resemble somebody like what you're saying because of a haircut. I think you resemble somebody because of the hair cut or the head cut, the way your brain is being cut. So I'm striving to be, I always, when I write the minister, I close out, your student, your servant, and your soldier, Brother Nuri Muhammad. Because that's what I'm striving to be. I'm striving to be his student. So I would hope that, you know, more than physical, that his character would impress upon me, and I could be and live up to what he said about me, him, 30 years ago.
All right. Have you ever heard of people saying, you know, Fard Muhammad, I don't think he really existed, because nobody never seen pictures or audio or tapes of him? Are there any video out there somewhere or any audio out there that can prove his existence on the planet?
I haven't seen any audios or videos, but I will say, of course, we have one picture, and that's the only picture.
Right.
The only picture that we have of Master Fard Muhammad. Ain't that something? The only picture that he wanted us to have, that he allowed to be, was a picture of himself, profile shot, reading the Holy Quran. Well, you know that old Japanese saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So what was the Savior trying to tell us? He's letting us know, if I'm the master and you all are joining my duplication process to become God, then look at how I became God. I became God from study. In general, and studying specific of this book, Holy Quran. Underneath it, it says the Holy Quran clothed in flesh, talking about Master Father Muhammad. So that's the only picture that we have of him. The clearest evidence of any teacher is his students. How will you know that a teacher has been present? You look at the weight of his students. It was Master Father Muhammad that took the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Think about this, Brother sa.neter. Just think about this math. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never even made it out of the 4th grade. He went to the 4th grade. How old are you in the 4th grade? 10? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had the formal education of a 10-year-old child. Yet he taught about the moon being once a part of the earth before the scientists ever knew it. Yet he taught that the earth was 35,000 miles in circumference at one time, now 24,896. He taught that there was 196,940,000 square miles of land and water, 139,685,000 of it being the water, with 68,634,000 square miles being Pacific Ocean, 41,321,000 square miles being the Atlantic Ocean, 29,430,000 square miles being the Indian Ocean, 1 million square miles of lakes and rivers, with 57,255,000 square miles of land sticking up out of it, earth weighing 6 sextillion tons, which was a unit followed by 21 zeros. This the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a wisdom and a science that the scholars and scientists of religion and science have never been able to catch up to. Yet he had the education, formal education, of someone that only was 10 years old. Here the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met Master Father Muhammad. Think about this, Brother sa.neter. He was only taught by him for 3 years and 4 months. 3 years and 4 months. Now you take anybody that goes to school for 3 years and 4 months, I don't care who the teacher is, and show me what has been their fruit of their labor after 3 years and 4 months. Matter of fact, find me anybody that went to school for 10, 12 years that say they are Dr. So-and-so. They can't heal like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has healed. So who did he meet? And what did that man teach him that he was able to absorb a wisdom in 3 years and 4 months with only a 10-year-old child's formal education? And he went from a 10-year-old formally educated child in knowledge to being the wisest man walking among us, to having 1 dime in his pocket, an alcohol problem, and on welfare, to being a man that got not off of alcohol just personally, but got millions of people off of all forms of drugs, not a dime, but built an $80 million empire in 1974, which is equivalent to what, 400 and some million dollars today? That is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to do. He's the producer of Muhammad Ali. He's the producer of Wharf Dean. He's the producer of Malcolm X. He's the producer of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. How could a man be able to make that kind of progress unless he met the man, and the man that he met was the God that he said that he was? So you don't need pictures. You don't need a recording. No, you don't need a video clip. You got the realest form of evidence, which is the transformation of human life.
Let me ask you, who was here first? Who was here first? Was it Master Farad Muhammad or Prophet Noble Drew Ali, or was they here like the same time?
Well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said about Noble Drew Ali, he said this. He said there are 4 great leaders, 4 great leaders that became forerunners for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he mentioned W.E.B. Du Bois, he mentioned Booker T, he mentioned Noble Drew Ali, and he mentioned the great Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he said what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was given by God for us was a synthesized version of the liberation structure of these four men, multiplied by the revelation Allah gave to him through Master Fard Muhammad. And when you mix that together, you produce the programmatic thrust known as the Nation of Islam. Therefore, when you joined the nation and you were once a Moor Science Temple Muslim, as my great-grandmother was and my great-grandfather were Moor Science Temple Muslims, my biological father is from Iran. But when you join, you don't have to get an X. If you come and you're so-and-so Bey, we honor your Bey. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to respect the great noble Drew Ali as being, look, the first black man to ever try to teach Islam to black people in America. So we salute him, we respect him.
Right, I do too. Now the reason I asked that is because I don't know if you heard it, but there's a lot of talk out there where some people say, and they getting the history mixed up, they say Fard Muhammad was a Moor. Have you ever heard that? Or he came, oh yeah, well they said he was a Moor. So let's get past that one. I'm gonna go to this one. Did Master Fard Muhammad bring a new religion or just a new understanding of the Bible and the Quran?
D, all of the above. The answer is D, all of the above. Yes, sir. Well, there's, Brother sa.neter, there's two sides of revelation. Two sides of revelation. Revelation is when new knowledge that has never been known is presented. But, example, if you say about a female that she wore a revealing dress, she's not showing you nothing new. Whatever you're seeing, she already had. But you understand what I'm saying? But it's been exposed now. So the other side of revelation is not new knowledge, but it is making plain or making known the knowledge that you've already had. Master Fard Muhammad did both. He brought wisdom that had never been known in the world before. What Master Fard Muhammad brought, those in the viewing audience, you might want to put your seatbelt on. What Master Fard Muhammad brought and exposed about the originator of the heavens and the earth, the originator of the heavens and the earth didn't even know that about himself. He brought knowledge about the originator that the originator hadn't even discovered about himself. New knowledge. But also, Master Fard Muhammad revealed the other side of revelation, exposed to us, made plain to us the inner meaning of Scripture, Bible, Quran, and the science of life. So he did both. He did both. He gave us a...
It was already in you. He just sparked it. He just gave it life. He just brought it out of people.
Well, the deepest function of true religion, see, true religion does not really have belief in God as a goal. True religion has belief in God as just a starting point. But the ultimate aim of true religion is to become what you believe in. That's religion. That's why religion. Religion in Greek means to get to God. Prefix re means to do again. So religion is supposed to be a spiritual system to get you back in the oneness with God. Bible and Holy Quran are called reminders. Messengers and prophets are called reminders. Well, if there are reminders and re means to do again, somebody has to put something back on your mind. Guess what? Before there ever was a Christ as a character walking on the earth, there was a Christ consciousness living inside of your earth. Before there ever was a man named Muhammad walking on top of the earth in Saudi Arabia, there was a mind of Muhammad inside of the earth called the human body. And yes, before Allah ever appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad on the earth, there was already an Allah awareness inside your mind or inside of this earth. So what religion and what the teaching of God is designed to do, what messengers do, what they came to do, they came to reacquaint you with the power of Allah that's inside of you that we've lost touch with. So Master Fard Muhammad came to activate the Allah awareness. Christ came as a character to activate the Christ consciousness in us. Muhammad came as a man to reawaken the mind of Muhammad that we already had. So the ultimate aim of religious teaching is to make you where you become a system of self-governance, where you don't need somebody from the outside in to tell you what to do. You can inform yourself from the inside out.
Right. Your brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
I mean, powerful researcher. Have you read any of his books yet?
Yes.
Dealing with Islam. Have you read any of his works?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we have. And we appreciate the great scholarship. You know, it's a great thing for us as a people, because you already know, anytime you start doing anything for black people, it often goes very, very unrewarded. We don't value, black people don't value knowledge. Well, we don't value knowledge like white people value knowledge. Every time a plane go down, they know there's no survivors, but they don't care. They put on that wetsuit, jump in the swamp, risk their life just to find that black box. Why? There's knowledge in there. You see them in the deep sea, down there digging, risking it. What they trying? Knowledge. They going into outer space. Why? They want knowledge. You see them digging and right by the volcano. Why? Because there's a chance that I can learn something new. So in the white community, knowledge is always respected. But in our community, those that dig and do research to try to provide us with some of the spiritual mineral wealth that exists in the universe in the forms of knowledge from historical research, we don't normally value it like we should. So for Dr. Wesley and for those great brothers that have sacrificed their mind, their money and their muscle really to go out and dig and research for us, to be able to put it in book form, that we might be able to have access to some of these jewels of wisdom found, we thank Almighty God for him and for all of those that sacrifice for that, especially when black people don't support reading and the purchasing of books the way the white community does. So we thank him for his deep research, and we thank all of the scholars of our people that have forsaken using their mental muscle just to go out into the world and get more personal economic gain for themselves. But they decided to use their great mental muscle to help find wisdom and give wisdom to you and me, that we might be free and independent as a people. So we salute our brother.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Dr. Wesley, of course. A lot of young people, our people, black people, a lot of young people are moving away from the Jesus Christ teachings. What is your thoughts on that right there, as you see these young people coming up and they saying, man, well, you know, Jesus Christ don't exist. We're not following that stuff no more. We're moving past that. I know you see it all the time. You see the fights, the arguments that say, man, we ain't with that Jesus Christ stuff. What is your thoughts on that right there?
Well, they're doing the right thing to reject the white Christ. See, we believe in Jesus in the nation. We just believe in the right Christ, not the white Christ. That's the difference. There was a brother, to put an example, there was a brother at the gym. I was trying to get him to come to the mosque, and he said, brother, you know, I don't do religion like that. You know, I ain't into religion like that. I said, yes, sir, I understand. I don't like religion either. He said, but you're a Muslim. I said, yeah, Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life. He said, yeah, I'm, you know, brother, but I don't believe in God, you know, like I don't believe in God. I said, can you do me a favor? Describe to me the God you don't believe in. He said, I don't believe in no ghost God in outer space, swooping down, making everything okay. I don't believe in the, you know, that he's up there living on clouds with prophets and my grandmother and them, and there's a devil, an evil version of him under the ground. I don't believe none of that. I said, well, brother, I'm an atheist too then, because I don't believe in none of that either.
That's right.
What I found, brother sa.neter, is that our people are not rejecting Jesus. or Jesus is teaching, they're rejecting white supremacy that has been marketed to our people in Jesus' name. Just as our brother said he didn't believe in a mystery God, a spook God, therefore he said he didn't believe in God, it's only because he hasn't been introduced to the true and the living God in person of the Master and in person of himself. So to those brothers and sisters in the streets that are rejecting the teachings of Jesus Christ, they're just rejecting the white Christ, not the right Christ. They're rejecting white supremacy that has been marketed in the name of Jesus. But if they were ever to come in contact with the true teachings of Jesus, and if they want to come in contact with it, it's real easy. I got 5 books they can read right now that'll give them the pure, raw, uncut teachings of Jesus Christ. Message to the Black Man, Fall of America, How to Eat to Live, Book 1, Book 2, and Our Savior Has Arrived. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. That's how you. That's what Jesus fed the multitudes with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, Eat to Live, Book 1 and 2, Fall of America, 2 fish, Bible, Quran. That's all you need. So if they got Bible, Quran, and they got them 5 books, they got everything that Jesus taught.
Let me ask you this here. Muslims, y'all are Muslims. It seems to a lot of people that's outside looking in, they will say, well, you know, y'all talk more about Jesus than Prophet Muhammad. Mm-hmm. Now, why is that? Because I hear the minister, he goes in on Jesus more so than Prophet Muhammad. Why is that?
Well, they said the same thing. The Muslim world said the same thing to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Mm-hmm. And in fact, whenever the minister was rebuilding the nation, the Middle Eastern Muslims came and offered him millions of dollars if he would not teach Elijah Muhammad, not even mention Wafdeen Muhammad, but teach only Prophet Muhammad. They offered him millions of dollars. Listen to this. Then they said, and if you do this, when you die, we will even say you were the Messiah. Well, we don't need them to say it. We'll say it. We know what we're looking at. Mm-hmm. But point is, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to them the same thing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He told them, you don't have our assignment. See, Brother sa.neter, the work of the Nation of Islam is the resurrection of the dead. Now, of course, it's mental, spiritual, it's emotional, it's economic death. But look at the concept of resurrection of the dead. Where are dead people buried? In cemeteries, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're going to resurrect the dead from a cemetery, you have to stick the shovel in the location where they're buried. You can't stick your shovel in Kentucky soil trying to resurrect somebody in New York. If you want to resurrect somebody in New York, you got to stick the shovel at the exact location where they're buried at. Well, our people are buried in the Bible. So in order for us to resurrect the dead, we can't stick our shovel in the Quran. We can't use for our shovel Muhammad. We got to come with a Jesus shovel.
I heard the minister
and stick our Jesus shovel inside the Bible. And that ought to tell you something. See, anytime that you've got the ability to prove Islam in the Bible like we do, that ought to let you know that you done found something when you're looking at the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as exemplified and explained to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So that's why our work is the resurrection of the dead. Truth is truth. If you can't prove to me that you got the truth in any religious source, why should I believe that you have the truth? Now, we can prove Islam in the Torah, the Gospel, the Holy Quran, history, science, mathematics, and in the book of common sense. We can prove it in every source that you want to prove it in. So we're resurrecting the dead, so we have to dig where our people are buried.
All right. Would you one day like to sit in the seat of the Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Emphatically no. Emphatically no. No, anybody that wants to sit in the seat is not qualified for the seat. See, this discussion that circulates in the atmosphere about a successor is because, again, just like we talked about community service and we talked about fighting for justice, it's the old Negro organizational template. This is not a Negro organization. This is a divine movement that Allah, God Himself, is in control of. So there are no successors coming after the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The only thing coming after the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is followers and believers. Followers, believers, helpers. Think about this. When Jesus was leaving, in the scripture, they call it the Last Supper. At the Last Supper, look at what Jesus did. He had all the disciples around the table, and He had one loaf of bread that it was His, and He said to them, "This is my body," and He broke a piece of the loaf He possessed and gave each one of them a piece of the loaf. Loaf gone, all of the disciples had a piece of the loaf. What was Jesus trying to say? He's saying that I am who I am as an individual person. But when I'm gone, the only way you can have me back is if all of you all bring your little pieces of bread together to make one. So there will never be another Farrakhan. But if all of us that believe in Him, that follow Him, that signed up to be helpers of Him, will bring our piece of bread to the table, then we can come together in unity, and I got my piece, you got your piece, she got her piece, and we put it all together, and guess what? Farrakhan's back again. In the form of not an I, but in the form of a we this time. So, you know, we got to get out of this concept of big I's and little U's. It's time for some big we's. We used to say it in the 60s, it's nation time. Well, when the minister is gone, it's no longer time for an individual to be the one. It's nation time. It's time for everybody to do their part. So we don't aspire for that. And if anyone does aspire to sit in the seat of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, not only are they unqualified to sit in the seat, but they are a hypocrite.
Who is the tribe of Shabazz?
Us. We are the we are the lost members of the tribe of Shabazz, so teaches the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Sum it up, you know, Message of the Black Man is the best source to get the math on this. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that there have always been, as a cycle of writing history in advance, 24, Bible calls them elders. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 24 scientists, 12 major, 12 minor. And the 12 major scientists, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said about them, he said they're gods of mathematics. Meaning that they're not gods of putting number 2s and 3s together and pluses and a D. No, the supreme mathematics is not adding numbers together. It's adding principles together and being able to multiply thoughts of people times other people's thoughts, dividing it by other people's actions to determine what's going to happen in the future. So the 12 major scientists, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said they were so profound mentally that they weren't practicing trigonometry, algebra, or calculus, or physics. They was practicing mental mathematics. They knew how to study the dominant ideas of the people of the time and divide that thought process by the common activity and predict what was going to happen 25,000 years in advance. Well, one of these scientists had an idea at the table, and he said that he wanted to take his family to the jungle of Africa to conquer the beast. The other 11, and one of the 11 supreme being disagreed. Told him no. See, in order for you to conquer something in an environment that they are the master of, you have to become like them in order to conquer it. So to conquer the beast in the jungle, You had to start thinking like a beast, and man is not supposed to go from human to beast and beast to reptile. Man's supposed to go from human to divine. So they disagreed, but he went anyway. Took his family to Africa. Went into the jungles of Africa, so teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Shabazz meaning rebellious. Tribe of Shabazz. He rebelled. He took his family there and began begetting offspring. They stayed there for 50,000 years. During that time, Shabazz and his family, producing offspring, never received messengers, never received divine guidance. They conquered the wild, they conquered the beast, but in order for them to conquer the beast, they had to become savages themselves.
Was Shabazz before the pyramids?
Most of them, yes. Most of those the pyramids that we have record of, yes. However, civilization is trillions of years of age. So really, how can you say this? Egyptian history is the best of the worst of our history. It is the highest. Egyptian history is the highest manifestation of the fallen black man. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. It's the highest manifestation of the lowest form. It's great compared to now. But at the end of the day, the civilization we had before the pyramids, before Shabazz, trillions of years ago, eye has not seen, Scripture says. Ear has not heard, nor has it even entered the heart of man to perceive what lies ahead that used to be as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So, did Shabazz come before that? Yes, he did, the ones we're looking at. Do you know these pyramids that we're looking at right now? These weren't the houses that we lived in. The pyramids were greenhouses, meaning we put vegetation in for the winter. The pyramids were places we buried the dead. Well, wait a minute. You got the pyramid Giza 451 feet tall, 451 feet deep, covers 13.5 acres of land, made of 1 million stones that weigh 3.5 tons apiece, marble, granite, gold, not deviating not 1 square inch. That kind of structure, and we use that as a greenhouse, that as a place to bury our dead. Question, Brother sa.neter, what did the homes used to look like? What did our schools and buildings used to look like if that's how we buried our dead? We know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that in order for the white man to rule, civilization had to be buried. The knowledge had to be buried. He used these words. He said there are 60,000 books of mathematics. These books are not, like again, not numbers, but they are aspects of nation building and how to govern civilization. He said the white man was only given one of the books, and the other 59,999 had to be buried. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that if he got another one other than the one he had, we might never be able to get him out of power. So when you see white people over there digging in Africa, they're not looking for no dinosaur bones, trying to find no more gold. They're over there trying to see if they can find one of them books or the artifacts that were the product of the wisdom of those books. So civilization had to be buried so that they could rule. So if there's a world we look at right now off of one book, what did our world used to look like when we used all 60,000 books to build it? Think about that. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard. So yes, tribe of Shabazz 50,000 years ago was before the pyramids that we're looking at. But the original man is not the 50,000-year-old black man. It's not the 10 million-year-old black man. The original man is over 78 trillion years of age. Not the first man under the sun, but the man that came before the sun that put the sun out there as a duplicate of his own mind. That's us.
All right. There's a teaching out there. I don't know if you came across it yet or if it came past you, where they said you are what your father is. And a lot of the ones that be teaching this mainly comes from the Hebrew Israelite set. They say that you are what your father is. So they accuse Bob Marley of being a white man because they say his father was white. So if you are what your father is, let's say you have a white man and a black woman, and the sister have her child, would the child be considered a white man, but the black is still dominant? So I don't subscribe to that teacher.
Well, you're answering your own question.
Right, I'll let you hit.
This. In that, again, quoting that monumental, illuminating book, Message to the Black Man,
Right.
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad deals with race mixing in there. And he makes a revolutionary statement. He says that a black child that comes from a white mother and a black father is not the same as a black child that comes from a white father and a black mother.
Now, what's the difference?
The seed, he said, the seed in so many words carries more of the percentage of the makeup of the child than the womb does. So scientists, they've been breaking it down. They say, some say 60, 40, 70, 30. I've even seen 94% man, 6% female. At the end of the day, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that you are more of your father than you are your mother. In so many words, he's saying that. However, when the math is in, heredity is not that powerful. Did you hear me? Heredity is not that powerful. You and I are no more than 20% heredity. What kind of God would God be to make me? I'm a new creature on the planet that, according to the Bible and Holy Quran, it says in the Quran, I, Allah, created you in the womb of your mother. In the book of Jeremiah in the Bible, God says, I knew you before you were in the womb of your mother, and then I formed you in your mother's womb. Well, what kind of God would God be to form us in our mother's womb, bring us into existence as a completely new creature with our own fingerprint, our own voice pattern, our own pupil, and we're unique. And at the same time, whatever our father or mother was, that's what we're bound to be. No, at the most, our heredity is 20%. But the other 80% of what makes us what we are the decisions that we make. I don't care whether mama or daddy smoked crack, whatever they were, your mind is powerful enough to override the commands that are even in your blood that came from your hereditary makeup. So never should we accept that because my father was, I am. Or because my mother was, I'm doomed to be. That's spooky. That's that generational curse stuff. You hear Negroes talking about, it's just, my family is, we generational curse, I mean, everybody, my mother's mother, her mother, everybody had high blood pressure. Yeah, everybody ate pork chops. Your generational curse is just bad habits that's been passed on one generation to another. Ain't got nothing to do with your blood. It's just bad habits that you've passed on. So no, at the end of the day, daddy don't make you who you are. Mama don't make you who you are. They have influence. Okay. They have the ability to pass on to you traits and really what you would call inherited preparation or inherited problems. They can pass it on to you.
All right,
but God is God.
Yes, I got 3 more.
And you can override all of that with the power of your own mind.
Beautiful. All right. Yes, sir. People say the Nation of Islam changed up on the teachings. Can white people join the Nation of Islam today? Does that exist? I know you heard people saying that now, that they have white members in the Nation of Islam. Is that true? How much fact is that? Well,
even prior to 75, you had a lot of white people that studied the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you seen the movie Godfather? You remember when Michael was, he's whacking all the 5 families. While he was whacking all the 5 families, they was asking him, "Do you renounce Satan?"
Right.
And he was in there renouncing Satan. There's a lot of Caucasian people that have renounced Yaqub. They've renounced their father and renounced the ways of their father, and they have embarked upon a study. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad tells us, and our Savior has arrived. He says that there are many white Muslims. They are our brothers and sisters in faith, but not our brothers and sisters by nature. He told us in our lessons that if you desire to be with us, you must study. 25 to 30 years, and we'll do trading among you, and we will not kill you as quick as we would the other devils that have not gone under this study. This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad lays out as an answer to Master Father Muhammad's questions. So right now there are white people that want to take on the transformation message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There's even a message to the white man and white woman that has been written by two a woman and her husband wrote message to the white man and white woman, and it is a way of taking the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and making it palatable for white people to study it, by which they might be able to enter into salvation. Right now, when you come to the Nation of Islam Mosque, there are no Caucasians that are present in none of our meetings. They're not allowed in our meetings at this point. Now, if we did open the door to white people, I'm afraid that black people wouldn't have no place to sit, because they love knowledge. So we better be quick as original people taking the message from the messenger God raised for us, because white people do want to learn the teachings. So we have many that study. They write the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He responds. They donate. They send letters to us. I personally have several people that are Caucasians that buy lectures from me a lot and write letters. I communicate back and forth with them. They want to be in the nation. At this current moment, they can't come and be a part of the physical institution, but they can prescribe to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and accept that transformation message.
Why do you think that is, that they would want to come and be amongst us, or be amongst our people in the nation?
Well, you got the good, you got the bad, and you got the ugly reason.
Because, let me ask you. Because I would say, once we begin to open the doors and let them in, the next thing is our women. Think about that. What do you say to that?
Well, we ain't going out like Rodney King now. That ain't going to be happening. But, so, you know, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are the teachings. And it says what it says about Caucasian people and their nature. They have to accept that, and they have to work to try to undo their nature. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to us that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and many others have recorded it. He said, my message is not universal now, but it is to become universal. So there is going to be teachings and teachers that know how to break it down where all people can understand it in their own way. Whether they'll be here with us, it's above my pay grade, Brother sa.neter. But right now, the mosque, the FY, and the MGT is for the original people of the planet, and all Caucasians that want to study. You can study. You can watch the webcast. You can buy the lectures. You can follow How to Eat to Live, the prayer schedule, and at a certain point, they may get a chance to come and back into Mecca again. But we learned what they did last time, so we'll be on watch to make sure it don't happen again.
All right, last question. All right, you already know. Go out with a bang on this one right here. The last question. L. Ron Hubbard. You know, the fight is with, why are they studying Scientology? Why is the minister trying to take the people over to L. Ron Hubbard? He's a racist. What do you say to that? Why is the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard so important to the Nation of Islam?
Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan introduced us to what is considered a technology of mind that L. Ron Hubbard discovered, called auditing, or Dianetic auditing, which is a way of interviewing someone, and by asking them to go back to the earliest moment of pain or discomfort in their life, with their eyes closed, in a state of reverie, not hypnosis, but just eyes closed. Whatever pops up in your mind, say it. And then you keep going over it, and get all the details out of it. And what we have found is that when you go over negative events that happen to you in your life, those negative events have what is called negative charge attached to them that have insisted or trapped some of your, what they call, in Dianetics, they call it attention units. You and I would call it the power of our mind, or spirit, or the wheel of the mind. Some of our life force, some of the power of our mind is blocked up by bad past experience. So every time you go through a little session, and the sessions are, I mean, some of them are as simple as you fell off a swing set at the park when you were 6. Some of them are when you first start riding a bike. Those little negative circumstances have trapped some of your life force. So when you go through it, you come out of it, now they become a regular memory, but now you freed up what they call attention units, or you freed up some of the power of your mind. There's also, if you ever go and look at them, as we were blessed to go with the minister to take a tour of the way they do things. So in addition to the Dianetics, they have an organizational system where I'm saying their facilities are so clean you could eat off the floor. They are quick thinking, fast moving, productive. So they have a system of leadership and a system of organization that is worthy of being studied. What did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say? He said, look, study the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. They work together in a collective manner. You must do the same. Well, how are we going to do the same if we don't study them? So Dianetics we're studying. That's the auditing, science of the mind. And we're also studying those leadership courses and those organizational courses that have the Church of Scientology moving at a very, very productive and fast, successful rate. That's it. Same as you would if you went to a school. We're not following Scientology. We don't call ourselves Scientologists. We are Muslims in the nation of Islam that happen to find a good tool that we can use. We're not the tool. I'm a Muslim with a hammer. I'm not a hammer. I'm a Muslim with a hammer. So I'm a Muslim that knows how to audit. I'm a Muslim that has taken 15 of their organizational and leadership courses personally myself. I'm a Muslim that has received over 100 auditing sessions to my own mind and have delivered more than 200. I'm a Muslim that by Allah's grace became the first auditor in the nation of Islam. I was the first one that became an auditor. So it's a great benefit because it undoes some of the burdens of your mind, makes you a little more aerodynamic. Now, the rumor is that we are joining on with and becoming a part of. That's not the truth. We are who we are. They are who they are. They have something good. We love it. We take advantage of it. And we stay in our faith and we stay with our mission and work. But it has helped us to perform the mission of the resurrection of our people better. It has made us better tools and weapons and instruments in the hands of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So we thank God for L. Ron Hubbard and what he's brought us.
All right. I want to thank you, my brother, for answering these questions for the people that's in the community that, you know, the inquiring minds want to know. We want to thank you here at sa.neter TV for taking the time for inviting us into your beautiful home, brother, to get this interview. We love you.
Correction real quick.
Oh, yes, you could give a correction.
I said 25 to 30 years of the study. It's 35 to 50 years.
Okay.
Is the study that they had to undergo. So I wanted to put that
right there. You go, beautiful.
Back on there.
And closing, what do you think about our young brother Ben? I was watching Ben last night. He been up late last night going in on the teachers. I happened to go on the computer and I seen I got a little something came to my phone and said, "Yo, Ben is live." Yeah. So I'm looking at Ben and he's going in. So shout out to our little brother, man.
I called Brother Ben. I told him, I said, "Brother Ben, you are the general of the Air Force Division of the Nation of Islam."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, to win a war, you got to have boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. Make no mistake about it. But also to win a war, you got to launch some airstrikes. Mm-hmm. And when you have people like Brother Ben and Brother Rizza, and there's a nice cadre of young soldiers that they in the air. They launching an airstrike on falsehood. Yes, they are. Envy, jealousy, all kinds of, all the negativity, all the negativity. They dropping bombs on negativity all the time. So I told Brother Ben, I said, brother, you are a great general of the Air Force Division of the Nation of Islam, dropping truth on falsehood from the air. So we salute our brother, and we thank Allah for putting it in his heart to commit his life to being a good pilot. He's a good pilot. He drops plenty of bombs, and we appreciate our brother for dropping bombs on falsehood, disunity, fear, envy, distrust, and all the other things that plague our people. Keep up the good work, Brother Ben, and those like you.
All right. Once again, my brother, thank you. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
And taking the time out to sit with me, my brother. Peace and Black Power, family. We out.
My honor. Thank you, Brother.
Yes, sir.
sa.neter.
All right. Thank you.
All right.